ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, and the chapter is nomenclatured as Chapter on Karma Yoga. How to convert our natural flow of life, full of so-called duties, and if we are lucky enough, time for our hobbies. But we are under the influence of the concept of duty. And a duty is performance of your duties in your day-to-day flow of life. How can we convert this flow of life into a means to realization? This is the secret of the study. Though I am very repetitive, but I cannot impress upon you how important it is to have this idea once for all clarified, and which has a strong hold on me to perform my life in such a manner where karma yoga, performance of duties of life as an offering to the divine, becomes a direct and independent means to realization. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of this attitude, a correction of our attitude with which we live, and what should be the corrected attitude. Now what happens, it is said, Indian philosophy, path to moksha or mukti, path to realization and emancipation and liberation and freedom, is an eternal search in a changeful world. The human society, its values, its ideas, its ideals change as the time flows. But the eternal perennial philosophy is, notwithstanding in what a situation I may find to be because of my birth, whatever that situation may be, the perennial philosophy, the eternal philosophy teaches you how to convert this journey into a journey within yourself, whereby you make the flow of life a direct and an independent means to realization. In the Gita, which was written, say, 3,500 to anywhere between 3,500 to 5,000 years ago, the society has a set of traditions, had a set of pattern in those days. So from the Shloka number 9 to Shloka number 16, verse number 9 to verse number 16, the Gita, keeping in view the social values of that time, and especially the predicament that Arjuna finds him to be in, Keeping that in view, the Gita tries to guide Arjuna, his thinking, his approach, his attitude, his perspective towards life, so that by performing the duties of a Kshatriya, he converts his flow of life as a direct and an independent means to realization. We today, 5,000 years later, our society has changed, our social values have changed, traditions have undergone a lot of beating and changing. So how could that perennial value to be one with God, how could that be reinstalled in our modern day life? This is one of the most important questions or impertinent questions that the modern thinker raises before you. How is it possible a book written 5,000 years ago is relevant today? If you read the Bhagavad Gita, along with it if you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and essays on Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Raja Yoga by Swami Vivekananda, you will find what does it mean by the word perennial philosophy, a philosophy which is eternal, applicable in a changeful world. We are in the thick of that discussion. That is why, dear, I'm taking to defend myself so much of a time to make it clear to you. We have read the 9th Shloka many a times carefully, that he says, if you perform your duties of life correctly, thoroughly, perfectly, and excellently, there is no room for mistake or slipshodness or shabbiness. Must be thorough, correct, perfect, excellent. Why? Do you offer dirty things to God? Tell me. God is a concept. You have no relationship with Him. But on a special occasion, you want to offer something to God. So you clean yourself up, bathe yourself, wash yourself clean, change your clothes, go to the kitchen, use a very neat and a clean yoke, and you cook something. Try to do it perfectly, thoroughly, correctly, excellently. And then trying to maintain the purity so that it doesn't touch anything else, you come and offer to God. That God is not known to you. But the tradition is, whatever you want to offer to God, you make it neat, clean and perfect. Good enough? My life flows. And if you look at your life analytically, it flows according to the concept of duty. Kartabya karma. Oh, this is my duty. I am now a growing up person. I must do these things to help my aged parents. This is my duty. I am a student. This is my duty to best use of this. My parents are spending so much of money, energy on me. Let me do this the best. Whenever you are performing your duty, an element of thoroughness, correctness dawns into you. But you do it with a worldly motivation. I'll be able to earn money. I'll able to earn a reputation, I'll be successful, I'll have this, I'll have that. Behind your performance of duty, some expectation is always there which motivates you. And if your expectation is fulfilled, you are in cloud nine. If not, you are in dirt. What are you doing to yourself, dear? You are making a slave of yourself, of other people's comment or result happening out of your effort. You have no control on the results, it happens. And you make yourself a victim of your mood swing between pleasure and pain, ecstasy and agony. That is my attitude. I have been brought up that way. I have been educated that way. That I always have an expectation in me. The Gita tells you there has to be an expectation, there have to be a motivation, otherwise there could be no initiative. There has to be something. I want this, that is why I am motivated. Unincentive or unmotivated activity is not possible. And you say, do it without any motivation? No, dear. Please understand, when it is said nishkama karma, activity without any expectation of results thereof means you have a motivation. What is that motivation? Not to be motivated by worldly motivation. But this motivation is negative, not to be motivated. So how can action take place? Go a step forward. Let the motivation be, I am a pursuer of correctness, I am a pursuer of thoroughness, I am a pursuer of perfection, pursuer of excellence. No slipshod shabbiness in my activity. Perfect. And I offer it to my God. God, I'm so busy because of you. In this world, I'm so busy from morning till night, I have no time to go to a church or a place of worship or a shrine. What can I do? God says, why don't you convert your flow of life into a worshipful attitude towards me? I am teaching you. I know I am not teaching anybody. I am serving my Lord God of the universe in so many forms. And I try to be thorough, I try to be correct, I try to be perfect, I try to be excellent. And I am serving my God. What is happening? Awareness of presence of God seeps into you. You absorb the awareness of presence of God and your flow of life is dedicated to God. You live in God, you live with God, you live for the sake of serving God in this world, and that too happens by the grace of God. Nothing but God in our life. This is the modern concept of karma yoga, and the word yajna is now to be translated as performance of your duties ordained by the scriptures. Pitridevo bhava, matridevo bhava, atitidevo bhava. Let all of them be a representative of God to you, and you interact with these human relationships with a divine reverence. And you have done it. So this is the secret how the idea of Karma Yoga, as enunciated in Shloka number 9 in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita by Krishna 5,000 odd years ago, how that could be now translated in our day-to-day so-called ultra-modern life. This is how this section from Shloka number 9 to Shloka number 16 has to be studied. Now he comes to a next stage. He has enunciated the theory of Karma Yoga, how to do it. Mukta Sangha Samachara Tad Artham. For that purpose, don't be attached to anything. Do it perfectly, thoroughly. Samyak Achara. Do it thoroughly, correctly, perfectly. And offer it to God. Now he tells you about interacting with forces of nature. This is something important. We know today that ecological balance is being disturbed by human greed and human uncontrolled passions. And the whole world is under turmoil. Climate change, this. Why? Because that ecological balance, and that ecological balance, according to a Vedic concept, right from the days of Vedas and Upanishads, had two aspects. One is physical, the other is moral. What is physical? The Lord God of the universe, He manifests His power through various avenues. As the sun, as the moon, as the stars, as the fire, as the water, air, ether, earth. And I am a product of this earth. It is my duty to see the balance with which God has created this nature, and the nature moves. I contribute to it instead of being an obstruction to it. And we say we are disturbing the ecological balance. This is what it is being said today. And that concept of rhythm satyam is an ecological balance in the life of morals and ethics of a human being. Behave in such a manner, the society gets strong. The goal of society is to help each one of the individual to achieve his or her goal. Instead of that, because of greed and passion, we are running after each other with a knife to cut each other's throats. We are disturbing the ecological balance. Because we are vengeful, we are, I would say, angry, we are jealous, we want to settle our scores, we want to kill each other so that I survive, let others go to dogs. It's a total violation of moral ecological balance. Now we get into that area. Firstly, material ecological balance. Let us read Shloka number 10 and 11. They should be read together. I've read it before, a little rapidly and quickly. Let me revise it. Saha yajna praja srishtva Purovacha Prajapatihi, the first line of the 10th Shloka. Let me paraphrase it for you. Pura, in time unforeseen, unthinkably early, ancient. Prajapati, the creator of this world. He created all of us, the humans. Along with it, he created a sense of duty instilled in each and every human. From time immemorial, ancient of the ancient days, since God created this universe, He created this universe along with the concept of duty. Saha yajna. Yajna is kartabhya karma, duty. Saha, with it. Praja srishta, creating humans. Pura, in the ancient days, he said, Uvacha. His instructions, God's instructions were, what was the instruction? Anena prasavishadhvam. Esha vaha ishta kama duk. Anena, with this concept, with this dictate on you, you are born with a sense of duty. Fulfill that duty. Don't disturb that ecological balance, both moral and material. If you do so without violating the principles, anena, with this performance of duty in cooperation with the forces in nature, prasavishadham, you may prosper. You may prosper. Prasavishadham means you gain prosperity. And let this method of prosperity fulfill all your unfulfilled desires. You find it in the Gita. Ecological balance. What does it mean? Now, he will come later on. Let me, according to the sequence, explain to you now. The sun's rays, the heat of the sun conveyed by sun's rays, they evaporate water from the ocean. That quantity of humus in water, when it goes to a higher level, because of the coolness of that altitude, it condenses into cloud. And when the quantum of water in the cloud becomes very heavy, it pours down as a rain. See the cycle. The sun, the heat, the evaporation, formation of cloud, rainfall from the cloud. And what does that rainfall do? This fertile soil, Mother Earth, is fed with nourishment and she produces life. And we are born out of that life. And this is how the cycle goes. Don't disturb it. Anena prasavishadham esha ishta kavadhu. Let your desire to prosper, to enjoy prosperity, to be prosperous, let it be without violating the laws of nature. And who dictated that? The creator of the universe, the preserver of the universe, dictated this when he created this world. This is what the Gita tells you 5,000 years ago, and 5,000 years later, we are racking our brains how to bring back ecological balance. We have ruined it, we have spoilt it, now we are aware of it. If we have followed it right from the beginning, such a situation would not have arisen. Doesn't matter. The attitude to correct oneself and rehabilitate yourself in your past glory is a way of life. You can do that. Now, if you follow the rules as laid down by God, what happens to you? Let us go to the next shloka, number 11. Devan bhavayata anena. Anena means anena yogena. This attitude, I do everything in this world not for self-interest, but to offer my duties to the divine. Devan bhavayata anena. The principal forces of nature, heat, light, air, water, and so on and so forth, they are God's ambassadors, as it were. They are envoys. They watch. Here is a society living in harmony with nature and doing whatever is proper for them to do, supporting nature, cooperating nature, coordinating with nature. The forces of nature thinks very well of you. You're a good boy. Thinks very well of you. Devan bhavayata anena. Te deva bhavayantuba. Mutual. You do things not to violate God's forces at play, and God in return thinks of your contribution, and He thinks of you. You think of Him, He thinks of you, with great pleasure and joy, and each one wants to contribute to the other. Parashparam bhavayanta param sreya vapsata. By mutual cooperation, by mutual interaction, with the same wavelength and vibing the same way, you will slowly and slowly, because of God's creation of a cyclic procedure, you will reach your ultimate goal. Whatever your goal is. Here there is a little discussion, controversial. Let me touch it, and it will be clear to you. There is a school of philosophy in India, the Purva Mimamsa school of philosophy. They say, by performing and conduct your life in this manner, you will enjoy eternal life in heaven with God. That is their view. The other point of view is, you are working, you are active, you are creating something in point of time. How can a finite activity produce eternal result? How can it be? It's contradiction in terms. What do you mean by param sreya? Sublime well-being. Now, sublime well-being must be beyond time, space and causation. Whereas which you call sublime is within time, space and causation. Shine punne martalokam vishanti. So what is this parama shreya from the Jaimini school point of view, Purva Mimamsa point of view? The point of view is, coincidentally, we are reading the same section of ideas in the Mundak Upanishad. Mundak Upanishad says, yes, I think that is what is possible for me, and I am convinced. and I do so. And after a prolonged period of time, I come to find and know that no. If I only live on my bank balance, a time will come when the balance will be zero. So I'll come back. Having gone up there, coming back again, the impression of coming back again will create in him paravairagya. Oh, then this is not the way that I do this to earn that, and that will be eternal. It is illogical, it is full of fallacy, it is wrong. After suffering this cycle twice or thrice or 4 times, I get tired of it. Nirvedamayat nasti akrita kritena. Then he says, no, I will now put my effort to wipe away the dirt of my understanding, and I know who am I. That is, my efforts are creative. It creates a result. What is the result? I wipe away the dirt in my thinking, and I know who am I, what am I. Answer to this perennial question, I am that eternal. I work hard not to create that. I work hard to remove the dirt in me, ajnana in me. As you clean up a dirty mirror, you clean up your own self, and your true original nature blossoms forth. So, Param Shreya Vapsata is interpreted by the Vedantins in this way, and Param Shreya Vapsata is interpreted by the Jaiminis in that way. Purva Mimamsa. Let us move on. This was only an academic discussion. Next, Shloka number 12. Ishtan bhogan hivo deva jajante yajna bhavita. The first line. Yajna bhavita jajante. The person in whom Yajna Rupa Bhavana is paramount. What is Yajna Rupa Bhavana? Offering to God. He says, I enjoy the fruits of my work because I give all that to God, and God gives me peace of mind, tranquility, and joy. And I enjoy that. Along with it, I enjoy reputation, I enjoy this. Oh, he's a saintly man. I enjoy all that. These are my Ishta Bhoga. This is what I desire in this life. Wealth, power, reputation, standing. It is given to me because I have converted life into an endless offering to the divine. Tair dattan apradayibhya. Having received all that from God, if you only enjoy it for yourself, without remembering His mercy and His blessings, you are as good as a thief. Tair dattan apradayibhyo jo bhunte stena evasa. Stena is a thief. Who is a thief? A thief is a person who snatches things of you without letting you know and enjoys it himself, though it belongs to you. He is a thief. Now, all the blessings that you receive from God by conducting yourself this way, you start enjoying it without ever having a grateful prayer towards God. Thank you, O Lord. Thanks for your mercy. Because of your compassionate grace, the food is on my table today. That is why, each and every religion teaches you, before you start eating, your hard-earned money has given you that food, but don't forget, it is the blessing of the divine, and you please offer it to him and then partake his prasad. Otherwise, you will be a thief. Ishtan bhogan hivo deva jajante jagyabhavita tair dattan, given by them to you, apradaypyo, without giving back to them by a little grateful remembrance. Jabhute, he who enjoys it, I have earned it. You are a thief. You are denying God his due share of your gratefulness. You see now the moral balance of life and material balance of life. Ecological balance in the domain of morality, ecological balance in domain of matter. They go hand to hand. Let us move on. Next shloka. I'm sorry. Jagga shishta siddho santo muchyante sarvakilvishai bhunjate tu agham papa je pachanti atma karanat. What I explained to you in anticipation, Sri Krishna is saying now in a sequential manner. He says, Stenava, you are behaving like a thief, and thieving or stealing is not a good thing. He is developing that idea. Jagga shishta ashina bhungtva. Jagga shishta ashina santo muchyante sarva kilveshai. Jagga shishta. After your food is on your table, or whatever you have achieved by your hard work, by offering to God, always treat it as a blessing of God given to you because of your devotion and dedication to you. Jagga shishta. All that you receive after performing your duties of life, you, with due recognition of God's grace, God's mercy, you absorb it. You take it, you assimilate it, you absorb it. That will help you to grow broader and broader. You are no more self-centered. Here, Yajna has been a little dilated. As I told you, the word Yajna in many cases have been dilated. Here, Yajna means you don't do it for your own self. You do it for God in different forms. You do it for God in different forms, and whatever is left for you, God gives you, you accept that as God's prasad or God's compassionate blessings. If you do so, muchyante sarvakilvishai. Sarva Kilvisha means all concepts of sin you will forgo. Now, what is the concept of sin? It's beautifully said. Anything that you do for your own selfish interest is a sin. And whatever you do for others and accept the leftover as your share is punya. Papa and punya are two words. Virtue and vice. Kilvisha is another word for papa. Now, Jagga Shishta Siddha Santo. A person whose life is dedicated to the welfare of many, to the happiness of many, the motto of the mission organization. Bahujana Sukhaya, Bahujana Hitaya. Welfare of the many, happiness of the many. Jagat Hitaya cha and Atmano Moksha. This is the method of liberating yourself. What is the method? Make everybody happy, make everybody feeling a sense of well-being by your efforts. Material, emotion, rational, immaterial. The attitude, I do it for the betterment of others. And after doing so, whatever is left over, I take it to survive, so that I carry on this beautiful way of life and living. This is how you should live. As Swamiji had said, this very idea in the modern language, they only live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. It's a quote from Swamiji's writings. They only live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. This is the essence of the shloka. You perform your duties of life not for your selfish interest, for the interest of greater good to the greater number, the society. And having done so, you partake of it, what is left over. And slowly, this attitude of serving God everywhere, the attitude of awareness of presence of God at all times and at all places. Your personality is being saturated with the awareness of presence of God. What you think, so you become. It's an English adage. What you think, so you become. When we were children, our parents used to say, do good, be good, think good. You will be good. And those 5 monkeys or 3 monkeys, see no evil, say no evil, speak no evil. You will not be evil at all. The very idea, Jagga Shishta, Jagga Shida Shishta, I'm sorry, Jagga Shishta Shida Santo, Mucchante Sarva Kilvishai. Bhunjate tu agham papa, chetu pachanti atma karanat. I am not bothered about anybody. I am bothered about myself. A hard-headed, hard-nosed, selfish person. they don't grow. They slowly and slowly shrink because they are self-centered. Whereas the other person is a self-centered person, but his self starts with a capital S, and this is a small s. Egocentric self and divine-centric. This is how the 13th shloka explains to you how do you continue to perform your duties of life as an offering to the divine in various aspects as that time society could understand easily. Today we read the same shloka with the latest interpretation of Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna. Now, I told you beforehand the ecological balance, the cycle. Anyat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha jagyat bhavati parjanya yajna karma samudbhava. This is a short description of an ecological cycle. How things happen. What does he say? Anyat bhavati bhutani. People eat and they get strong and they procreate. From food, from nourishment, the body becomes strong, good enough, and it procreates. Anyat bhavati bhutani. Parjanyat anna sambhav. Where does anna come from? Where does nourishment, food come from? From the rain of the cloud. The world is fertilized and saturated, and the world produces all that nourishment. And a human eats those nourishments and is strong enough to keep the lineage flowing. Anyat bhavati bhutani parjanyat. Parjanya is cloud, and which is raining, pouring water. Parjanyat anna sambhavaha. Rain is the cause of life in earth, botanical and biological. Jagyat bhavanti parjanya. Yajna here does not mean only the havana that we do ourselves, though that creates heat. That is the cause of humus being accumulated. But here the real meaning is the heat of the sun is the yajna. And that heat of the sun on the mass of water in ocean creates vapor. And that becomes the rain. The yajnat bhavati parjanya, yajna karma samudbhava. I am the person who do it. So I am the central piece. I am the fulcrum. I am the pillar to keep this whole world order going, the natural order of ecological balance. As I told you before, the sun, the source of energy and heat, evaporates water of the ocean, it forms into a cloud, and when it is secure and cold enough, the vapor converts into raindrops. It rains, the earth absorbs, earth produces, human nourishes themselves, and the cycle goes on. This is a material ecological balance. And the moral ecological balance has been told, who does not do so, pachanti atmakaranat, he does it only for himself, he is open to vice. That is vicious, that is viceful. This is how he, now in this 15th shloka here, and the 16th is the last. As because it is very archaic and prosaic, I mean to end this discussion today. Let me read the 15th shloka. Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. Let us stop here. First half of the first line of the 15th shloka. Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. Viddhi means know for certain, without any hesitancy. Here the word Brahman means the Vedic literature. The wisdom that is confined in the Vedic literature is Brahman itself. The wisdom, not the printed words. But we know the book, and the book emanates that wisdom. Karma, that is kartabhya karma, what to do, what not to do, if to do, how to do, when to do. All this is totally specified in the Vedic literature. How a human being, right from the stage of brahmacharya to garastha, to banaprastha, to sannyasa, the 4 stages of human life. The childhood up to 5, leave it alone. 5 to 15 is the time of education. 16 to 50 is garastha. 50, when your children are all settled, don't meddle in their affairs. Enough is enough. Out you go. Spend your life in prayers and meditation. And that prayer and meditation will create a vairagya in you, a nirveda in you, a total indifference to the world. And you qualify to be a sannyasi, and you become a sannyasi. These are the 4 stages of life. So here, dear, he says, the concept of kartabhya karma, sense of duty, when does it apply to me? I am a brahmachari, that is I'm in a period of education. My life started the day I looked back upon the world and started my life as a sannyasa. 10 years. I am a learner. I must learn what are the duties of my life, how to perform it, when to perform it, in what manner it should be performed. Every detail is to be found in the Vedas, which is nothing else but the wisdom of God in a book form. Karma Brahma Udbhavam Viddhi. Know for certain this concept of duty has come from the wisdom of God. Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. This Veda Rashi, the whole gamut of this literature, is nothing but an alternate way of seeing the eternal. Shasa prashasa bhat. As a human breathes in and out without any effort, the wisdom of the divine is entombed in the Vedic literature. Brahma karmodbhavam viddhi brahmakshara samadbhavam tarmat tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagye pratishtitam. Therefore, that concept of the eternal absolute, which is enshrined in the literature known as Vedic literature, the wisdom of God, which is eternal, aksharam, eternal, immutable. infinite. This has Sarvagatam Brahma Yajna Nityam Pratishtitam. Yajna means perform of your duty. You are not away from the reality of life. Brahman is your true original nature. Now he concludes this section, and I'm happy that the section is now well understood. I presume so, and it is coming to an end. Evam pravartitam chakram na anuvartanti iha jaha aghayu indriya arama moham partha sa jivati. Absolutely no ifs and buts. What is it? Evam pravartitam chakram. This cycle, which I have explained to you, what is that cycle? The ecological cycle. The sun, the water, the vapor, the cloud, the rain, the earth, the life, and the cycle of generation. This is what has been enunciated and started by God Himself. Evam pravartitam chakram. Chakra is this cycle. Yah, a person, an arrogant, obstinate, thoughtless, ignorant person. Nanuvartanti, iha, in this life. A person who does not follow in a coordinated, cooperative manner with this cycle that I have created for you in this lifetime. Aghayu, his life is worthless. Indriya arama, he is like a beast, eat, drink and be merry. Tomorrow we die. Aghayu, his life is full of sin, vice. Indriya arama, he is only satisfying his carnal pleasures. Moham partha sajivati, his life is worthless in this world. Is absolutely worthless, unworthy. That is how Sri Krishna tells you that this is how I have created this world. And I am explaining to you how to live in this world. In 2 words, it is a direct and an independent means to realization of your own self. Karma Yoga, convert your life into an endless worship of the divine. Through every act and deed of your life, let it be a continuing, uninterrupted process of awareness. Evam pravartitam chakram na anuvartai iha ja. He who does not follow it here in this life. Aghayu, his life is full of vice. Moham partha jivati. He is only interested in his own carnal desires. His life as a human is worthless. With this, he completes this sector from 9th shloka to the 16th. 9th shloka says, Jagyarthat karmano annatra loko ayam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Convert your life into an endless, reverential, emotional, affectionate interaction with the awareness of presence of God in your life. That is the essence of Karma Yoga. And he has completed this chapter I'll not say chapter, the section of what is Karma Yoga, what is ecological balance, evam pravartitam chakram. He has two balances, two circles. One is material, natural, the other is ethical and moral. Ritam satyam. Ritam means that which is reality as far as morality and ethics are concerned. That is the springboard of spirituality. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much for your undivided attention. From the 7th Shloka, he will explain to you, teach you. This is for people like you and me, who are still to find their soul, who are still to identify themselves with their true original nature. By contrast, from the 17th Shloka onwards, he will say, how does a realized soul live in this world? The signs and symptoms of a realized soul is what you should assimilate and absorb, so that that becomes your sadhana and you become a realized soul in due course of time. That is why it is necessary that lakshana, signs and symptoms of a realized soul, how do they behave in this world? He is also in this world, I am also in this world. His life is flowing, my life is flowing. I know how my life is flowing. Sri Krishna will tell you how the life is flowing of a realized soul who has seen through this ball game and is one with God. How does his life flow? Compare and try to absorb his behavior pattern. So your personality by absorption changes and you become a realized soul in due course of time. That is why Sri Krishna, having explained as we are today, he will now explain who is a sthita prajna, who is a man of knowledge, a man who is a realized soul, how he manages these affairs which are a puzzle for us. For him, it is a joy, endless joy. Thank you, dears. We'll start on the 17th Shloka next time when we meet. Thank you. God bless you all.